Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone and episode 4 of the Zone Talks. I hope you are all doing well, but you know what? There's not actually much Doctor Who news to talk about, so
Yeah.
we will,
No, no,
yeah.
you're gonna hate me. I hate to interrupt. They moved my lunch earlier, so I literally have 8 minutes. I'm so sorry. They
Okay,
moved
well,
my lunch
sure. As I
today,
said,
so
there's not really
yeah.
much to talk
Sorry.
about anyway. Anyway, for anybody that's on YouTube, bit of good news. Caroline, Suzanne Wazanaki has stepped down, or is stepping down as CEO. But if you hear the rumors,
Susie Q is stepping down. Oh, that's gonna hurt us all.
yeah. So we don't know what's going to happen, but her potential successor is into Bitcoin and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to improve anytime soon. But there's a lot of people saying that she was pushed behind the scenes. So yeah, interesting one. We'll see how that develops. We got the Warped Eyebrow who says, I can't believe the new shooty costume that was leaked is better, but the trainers ruin it for me. I still feel like there aren't enough layers to the costume. Well, we might as well actually talk about that again because obviously during the week we did actually do an extra TARDIS on talk. So we'll talk a little bit about the costume. I mean, I think everybody, the general consensus was the costume was actually not bad. A few people having nitpicks. I had a few nitpicks as well. Look, you're not always going to be pleased with a doctor's costume. Remember people giving out about Christopher Eccleston's costume. I remember even people saying and criticizing David Tennant's costume. Same with Matt Smith. And of course, actually, I don't think there was much criticism over Peter Capaldi's costume. I think that was the only time where there was general consensus that the costume of his was nice. Of course, Jodie Whittaker's costume, yeah, that caused an awful lot of debate.
Well,
Um,
well, Peters was just simplistic. I mean, it was just what one or two colors. That was it, black and white. And then essentially he evolved into what I call rock and roll doctor. And when he started doing that, it started becoming was it t-shirt and shiny shirt and
yeah,
pajama bottoms. I'm like it's and the sonic sunglasses, but I like that incarnation better than the first year because I think that's where we should have started. I know they were trying to do the same thing they did with Colin Baker, which was start him off as grumpy old man and then he evolves, but it didn't work for Colin and it didn't work for Peter. And that turned a lot of people off because, he kind of felt the attitude. And plus, I'd never loved that arc of, am I a good man? I said, you had a whole episode that said a good man goes to war. So I think we know the answer to this question. And it just kind of it wasn't a really good arc on that device. It didn't work for me,
well, it
but
didn't. It didn't repeat her because it alienated a lot of the younger fans, whether we like it or not. To
I think
those fans, Peter was too old to play the Doctor. Now, of course, we would say as classic fans and watching the show a long time, well, we have had old men play the Doctor before. But I think, modern television, unless you're a spring chicken, as they call it, there is a bit of ages there. We seen the sure after he left and Whitaker was cast, a lot of the ages fools came out to the surface. It was a bad move to make them all grumpy. I think they got the balance right, Serious 9. If they had started with the balance like that, Serious 9, I think Peter would have been given a better chance. But it did alienate a lot of fans. It really did.
well, there's grumpy and there's obnoxiously grumpy. I mean, you could still see there was grumpiness even when he was rock and roll doctor, but you could see that it was more aligned to what the doctor is as far as kind of just he does have a sense of humor. The first incarnation when it came to deep breath and into the Dalek and all that, I just felt God. He's just I don't even it was kind of one of those. It's like why is Perry with six? they sound like an angry couple. Now, unless that's what's holding them together, it's not working for me. I just like Perry should be running out of the building. I still argue to this day that Twin Dilemma should have been between Perry and Six. It should have
Mm.
been him taking the TARDIS to that Titan. I think it was Titan 3 or something like Titan 3, exiling himself until he felt better. And then Perry's got a problem because she can't go anywhere. The doctor's gone mad. But now we can see a serious relationship growing between the two because he gave up his life to save her, and she should have returned the favor. In that sense, maybe I'm not used to this doctor, and you could have had something in the background, but to throw in a story like the Twin Dilemma in there at the same time, you could have had that Time Lord that was in the way. He could have, come up and found the doctor and said, "Hey, he's regenerating. This is something that they do. You got used to it." And even when he decided to throttle her, at least she could have said something to the fact that, he tried to kill me, but this is what he saved me.
Yeah,
So
there was yeah.
it could be this fine line, and it just we were just getting angrier and angrier doctor until we got to the big finish where he kind of mellowed out, just like Capaldi did in the second season. But it's too late.
Yeah.
People got first impressions, and if you're not hitting him on the first impression, you're not going to get a second and third.
No, you're right. Absolutely. I mean, if they had started off with Sirius 9 or that tone of Doctor, I think he would have succeeded. Absolutely.
I think
I still think though Sirius 9 and 10 gets a lot of stick, but I think his last two seasons are actually pretty decent.
Well, I think if we gotten Rock and Roll Doctor from the very start and Nardole, I think Clara was an 11 companion. She should have left the TARDIS when he regenerated. She's just like, I can't do this anymore. Goodbye.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as she left, Nardole should have started. They should have started with Nardole. They could have thrown in Bill later because I love the dynamic between Nardole and.
Yeah, I agree with you. I actually love that friendship. I have to be honest. I loved their scenes together. They were always funny. They were always funny. And he was Nardole was kind of the Doctor's guide as well when he was out. Obviously, he didn't do such a good job because the Doctor still ended up going on these adventures. But God love him, he tried. You know what they say, God loves a trier.
Dynamic between 2 and Jamie and 10 and Donna, where they were the buddies. But I noticed something about Nardole because when they said that he was coming back in Mysterio, I was like, no, don't bring. He was awful. I did not like him in Husbands. But then I started seeing things in Mysterio, and then when they started playing off of each other, you knew they were having a good time. And that reflected into their characters. And the moment that I knew Nardole was a good companion for 12 was when 12 is telling, he leaves. They know there's something. He's at the dinner table. He leaves. The reporter and the ghosts are sitting there, and they know there's something wrong. Nardole waits for 12 to leave, and then he tells the story about River Song. He knows where the boundaries are at.
Yeah.
He knows where the things, and then he tells the story, and you know right away that Nardole appreciates 12.
Exactly.
He really respects him, but he knows where the line is drawn. He can push the line. That scene where Missy's on the floor, they're about to execute her, and he comes walking in and says, "I have permission from your wife to kick your ass." That was the most brilliant line. But he knows, no, I know when he needs his space. I know where, he knew where the thing was. And that wasn't something I didn't see in any of the other companions when he came to 12.
Oh, Daniel is of the minority. He's because a lot of people have it the other way around. But he says he loves Sirius 8, but he detests Sirius 9 apart from Heaven Sent. Loved Sirius 10. I don't know, man. We've got the 2-parter coming up shortly before the flood and under the lake. I thought that was pretty good. We had a 2-parter before that as well at the start. I think Sirius 9 starts off great. Well, look, each to their own, I suppose, but I don't know. I think Sirius 8 is kind of all over the place, man, and some of the stories are diabolical, man. I
Scottish
don't know.
Stavros,
Maybe
more
it's just
power to
me.
you if you really appreciate that. I mean, if you like, I meant, not everybody's going to eat the same thing at the buffet. So you pick and choose what you like. If you
Yeah,
like that, I just personally think Clara was way too long. She wasn't a good companion for 12. They should have just started with Nardole or even Bill and started with a new companion that reflected 12
that's
off.
the
And
shame about this whole situation, though. When Peter was canned, and don't get under no illusion he was canned. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what the media reports and what people say. He was canned, right? Because he did a radio interview where he said he was looking forward to working with Chris Chibnall. 6 weeks later, then he goes in crying to a radio show and tells everybody he's leaving the show. He didn't want to leave the show. But here's the goddamn shame about this whole situation is we got a great companion in Bill Potts. And yes, people will say that, she was reminding us that she preferred women over men every 5 minutes and stuff. But if you ignore all of that stuff and actually analyze Bill Potts as a companion, she is a great companion. She was asking those questions that the audience would ask. She was always questioning the doctor. I think that is the shame for me, is that Pearl Mackie only got one season with Peter Capaldi. Because, to be quite honest, I agree with Christian. If you had started off the era with Bill Potts or introduced her later on, as Christian has suggested, she would have been far more better fit for Peter Capaldi's doctor. I love that friendship between those two. It's professor student friendship. Like, it's, she really cares deep for the doctor. He cares about her too. When he brings her into the office for the first time, he's basically, giving her encouragement. He does it in a weird way, but he gets there. But he basically tells her, you're more than just serving chips, basically. That was a great, seriously, those two were great. It's just such a shame they never got to do a few
yeah,
more
and the
seasons.
writing was just going off the charts. Where we were looking at pre-Chibnall writing. It was just going, why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about this topic? Why is this making an appearance here? As opposed to, here's some good writing that the two of them bounced off. Because one of the things I really didn't like, was the scene in Thin Ice where he decides to rescue his screwdriver against the kid. And I'm just like, wait a minute. I'm harking back to the first series of 12, which is like, why did you do that? You should have you should at least tried to save the kid. You should have pulled on his sleeve, and then when everything failed and he fell into the water, then grabbed the Sonic out of his hand. But you didn't even try. And that's what killed me constantly kills me at 12, because they wanted to make him the grumpy old man, and they were trying, this is my world and everything, and I have to make a decision, which was kind of cool with what was it, the Orient Express, Mummy on the Orient Express, where he goes, sometimes you make the bad decisions, but you still have to make a decision. It doesn't exempt you from it, and you do your best. But I didn't think he did his best when he was saving Sonic, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that scene is a bit. I never really questioned it, but you are right. I mean, he doesn't put all his effort into trying to save the kid. He seems to be more concerned about the screwdriver in that scene. Right. I will say that. But I mean, I think he redeems himself even in that episode when he slaps that racist and knocks that racist out. I mean, that is a glorious scene in Tin Ice. I don't care whether people think it was making a political statement or not. That was the time it was anyway, and the way they would have treated. And for Peter to do that, just again, to me, it showed he cared about Bill. He wasn't going to, and he slapped that racist in the face. That was brilliant. That was brilliant.
I think that I get what they were trying to do, and I didn't mind them doing that. I just feel like that was inappropriate. He could have pulled a lever and something could have fell on him or something like that. To physically actually punch him.
I know, because he doesn't normally do that sort of thing. You're right. Matt Smith's doctor did punch your man, the bomb fella in what the Dalek, the two-parter. What's his face? You want that the professor. Remember, he punches him in the face to knock him down because he's a big bomb.
Right. And I'm just like, remember, this is the guy that only hits when necessary, but he's usually already 3 steps ahead. So he's got a lever. He's going to sonic something and something's going to fall on the bad guy's head. So, and speaking of falling on heads, I'm sorry, no, I got to run. I'm already running late, but I apologize. We'll make sure that in 2 weeks, I'll give you a full thingy. This doesn't happen at all. It just, they switched my lunches. So I had to leave.
No problem. Do you want to do your channel shout outs before you head off?
Absolutely. Everybody, I'm sorry, I haven't looked at the comments because I'm doing something else at the moment, but thank you all for joining us. Noel, take it over when we're done. I hope you run it just a little bit longer, but youtube.com, The Legend of the Traveling Tardis. Please subscribe. Also, facebook.com, The Traveling Tardis. We are closing in on 67,000 Whovians who have subscribed in the last 10 years. So, I mean, we are really making waves over here, but also, no, right here, the Tardis Zone. Please make sure you are liking, sharing, subscribing, because that's how we get our algorithms out there and help any of the ND Doctor Who podcasts out there. We really appreciate that. Even just a simple like, or just a subscribe, just to let us know, hey, what we're doing out here is worthy and you think we're worth it, and we're going to continue to spread our love of Doctor Who and share it with you.
Fantastic. Roy, you go on off and do what you have to do, and I'll talk to you in 2 weeks' time.
You got it, brother. Take care. Hopefully next week. I'll try to see if we can hook that up.
Yeah, if we can hook something up, there might be something special, but we're not going to guarantee and make any promises, folks, because he is pretty busy. But if the internet, if everything lines up perfectly, there might be an opportunity to talk to Christian live while he's there. But it's not guaranteed because he doesn't know what the internet and how busy they're going to be. But we'll see. We might be back. Well, I'll be definitely back, obviously, next week. And then Christian will be joining us then the week after that. But hopefully we might be able to get something in for you, we'll see. But we're not making any promises. So don't hold us to that because, as we said, it's the venue, how busy he's going to be, and then how good the internet connection and all is, and if he has a bit of time to actually go live. So we'll see.
Alrighty.
Anyway,
gotta run, guys. But thank you again, Noel. I'll see you in hopefully next week, and if not, 2 weeks. Talk to you later, man.
See you later. Have a good one. Interesting question from Warped Eyebrow too. Well, I haven't been paying attention to any of the rumors that I see online because the majority of them will be wrong. For me personally, I just want the Doctor to be the Doctor again. I want him to put his own spin on it, but I want the Doctor to be fundamentally the Doctor that we recognize and we love. That's it. That's all I want. It's a simple request. And obviously on top of that, I want some good, decent stories for a change. Because we've been deprived of good stories for a long time now. So that's all I want. I just want him to be the Doctor and to do his best in the role. And he's said and done all the right things since he's been cast. He's very open with the fans. You know, he seems to be loving and enjoying every minute of it, which is absolutely fantastic to see. So as long as he's enjoying it, he will be happy in his work. And if he's getting good scripts, he will be the best version of the Doctor that he can be. But he does need those stories to help his Doctor. But there is no better man than RTD, I should say. Chris Chibnall, you hear me? RTD to bring the best out of Shooty. And I do believe he will get the best out of Shooty because he's done it with every other show that he's written and won awards for. He gets the best out of all of these actors and actresses, right? RTD is the master of that. And if he has written some great scripts, we are in for some great Doctor Who again. And that's all we've ever wanted, is some decent Doctor Who. It's not even It's not even a big bloody thing to ask for. But nowadays, it does seem to be a big deal to ask for those things. All we want is shows to be respected, for the character that we grew up with, love and know throughout the classic era and the New Who era to be respected. And it hasn't been these last few years. And of course, stories that land the third act. Very important that RTD does. And he will. Moffat didn't always land. But when he did, it was spectacular. Let's be honest about it. Look, I'm still excited. I'm still buzzing. There's still a few more major announcements to be made before we get to that special. But remember, we're in February now. It does seem to be flying in these last couple of months. But as I said, once it hits March, April, it seems to drag in for a while. But we're getting closer and closer to that air date of the 60th anniversary. And I cannot wait. I am hopeful that RT... Listen, the 60th will be a success either way. Because it is the 60th. It's a celebration of Doctor Who. Now, if RTD, which I think is his plan, is to get that feel-good factor to carry on into Shooty's era, he will, and with the scripts, as I said, he will succeed. But a lot of people have questioned why RTD brought David Tennant back and didn't go straight with Shooty. Well, I believe that, no matter what the other side say, the last era was a failure. Right? It did fail, right? You can argue about ratings all you want or whatever, right? We forget about ratings, right? Let's talk about the actual writing. The writing from Chris Chibnall was a failure. The writing from his team was a failure. He's even admitted when he left, he said that he was so involved in making sure that other people's scripts were okay that maybe he didn't pay attention to his own enough. Now, I'm sorry, but that has failure written all over it. That has failure written all over it. Right? RTD has already proved he knows what he's doing with Doctor Who. Right? When he brought Doctor Who back, it was a gamble. Right? And the fourth series needed to be a success for it to continue, for us to be even talking today. But it was. So I have no doubts that he can pull the same trick again. Except this time, this is RTD with a bit more experience now under his belt. A few more awards, writing credits under his belt. This man's character development is off the charts. So Shooty's Doctor's character development is going to be off the charts. Millie Gibson's character is going to be off the charts with character development. It's going to be done properly. And you look at merch. Look, we could go down by the merch as well, but I don't want to. We don't need to do that. We don't need to look at ratings anymore and the merch sales down, right? These are all things that we know are true, right? But look at the writing. The writing was not top tier Doctor Who. There's no way that there's not one Chris Chibnall episode, right? Or any of his team that have written that's better than anything that we got in Series 1 under RTD. Now, if someone in the chat wants to argue against that and actually give me an example of a story that was better from Chris Chibnall or his team that was better than any episode written in Series 1, go ahead. Give me that example. The Tardis official YouTube channel. This is a big tangent, but do you do this YouTube thing full time? Yeah, it's full. Well, I've been doing it. It started off I suppose in the first year is a bit of a hobby, but I suppose since the second year, it's become a full time thing. Yes, um, we've even got we've even got a schedule now, which I've actually stuck to. Um, a bit of trying to be a little bit more professional, even though I never will be a professional. Trying to be a little bit more professional, get an L schedule going, and then of course, if there's any break in Doctor Who news, we'll go live. Um, Anytime there's any breaking news. So yeah, it's a full time thing now. So that's why Christian, when he's on, does plug me channel quite a lot. It's because it's the thing that I do now. I won't describe it as a job because I wouldn't describe being a YouTube content creator as a job. But yes, it does take up all of me time now. So likes, shares, and those subscribing, you know, uh, all of those little things help this channel. So yeah, if you can encourage people, if you like what you hear on this channel, you know, encourage others to subscribe to the channel, because it all helps. It does. We've also got memberships as well. If people, there's 2 tiers there. That'll give you access to membership streams where we talk about other stuff that's not connected to Doctor Who. The last stream was on aliens, weather balloons, and all of this stuff that's been happening lately. I just got a comment by one of our members, Bobby, who said it was a great stream. He remembered when I used to do them with Lee. So I might do a few more of those. So if you haven't become a member and you want to hear me talk about other topics and stuff like that, and as a member as well, you guys can suggest topics of conversation for me to talk about and to get my opinion on. Remember, we are back here again at 9 o'clock tonight for Friday Night Contact. We are going to be talking Star Trek Picard Season 3, the final season. And we're also going to be talking about that Flash trailer. And obviously, we're going to talk about the bit of the moral dilemma that some fans are now faced with, because a lot of fans had said that they weren't going to watch this movie. I was one of them. And that's still at the moment where I stand. But I will say and admit that after that Flash trailer dropped, it has made that decision a lot harder and not as easy as I thought it would be. The trailer has been received generally very well. The trailer blew me away, I have to be quite honest. So we'll be they're the 2 main topics for tonight that we're going to be covering. And I've got a lot of things to say, and I'm not going to hold back. But there's one thing that I hate from any content creator out there is to tell people what they should and shouldn't watch. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about that as well, because there's a lot of that going on from big YouTubers out there all of a sudden, because some people have decided to give Star Trek Picard a chance. Now, I watched the first episode, so I can actually make a comment and give a view on this. The person in question that's making all of these tweets said they checked out and were going to check it out, and then eventually checked it out and said it wasn't bad, and then kind of discredits themselves. So I get it, right? You don't like Alex Kurtzman, that's fine, but I'll talk about in a little bit more detail later on. But some people have called me a bit of a hypocrite, right? Because he said, well, you are banging on about how bad Doctor Who was and telling people not to watch. Well, there's a difference, right? Doctor Who in the 5 years under Chris Chibnall never changed quality. It never improved. Now, The Star Trek is a different ball game altogether. Yes, Discovery is trash. Yes, Lower Decks is trash. Right? Picard season 1 and 2 were trash. Right? But but there are two shows in particular, in my opinion, that have changed, are starting to change that view. And that's Star Trek Prodigy. Now, it is a cartoon, but it's some of the best Trek you'll ever watch. And if people haven't checked out Star Trek Prodigy, it's with Janeway, hologram Janeway. You are missing out. It's an absolutely beautiful show. You will actually enjoy it. Then we got Strange New Worlds, right? And Strange New Worlds to me was very good, right? It's some of the to me, it felt like Star Trek for once, right? Same with Prodigy. I watched the first episode of Picard. Same thing here, right? So there does seem to be a change happening, right? But some people out there just want to spew for the sake of spewing, and they're being hypocrites. And as you know, you yourselves, right? So one thing that I hate: do not tell people how they should think and what they should feel and what they can and cannot watch. And calling people pathetic because they follow Picard season 3, right? In my opinion, is pathetic. But we'll get into it in a bit more detail later on tonight. I don't wanna say too much because you know I don't want to blow up on this stream about it. But back to Doctor Who anyway. And the legend of the traveling TARDIS there with the super chat. Says you can always contribute with a super chat like I did. Sorry, Noel, about the time mess up. I have a super chat point on me, a $5 super chat. Christian, it's all good, man. It's all good. So it's as you said yourself when you were talking to me about this, when we decided to do this, you did say, there may be times where we may have to move it around, or you may not be able to stay as long. It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Sure, as I said, we did a TARDIS Zone Talks midweek where we show all the photographs of the filming that's been going on with Shooty, a look at his costume and all of that. So if you haven't checked that out, myself and Christian were there and we were talking a good bit on that one about it. Now, also, just to let you know, to make things a bit simpler for everybody, because you know me, I'm a bit all over the place. But as I said, I'm trying to get everything in order now. So Friday Night Contact has its own playlist, obviously from the time that Chris and Lee jumped on board. So it starts off from that very first stream that we did all the way up to the present. They're all going to be in a playlist, okay? So if you've missed out on any Friday Night Contact streams, you can catch them all on that playlist. And it's the same with the TARDIS Zone Talks. This is episode 4 of the new format. This is also in its own playlist. And if you go into the playlist section there, you will see that they're actually up on top. I've removed all the other playlists now, and I've put up the playlists to make it easier for you. Also, as you know, we've been doing Internet and Media Madness videos. They're pop music videos that I do, and I show the madness of the media and the internet. People always ask why I've done these sort of videos. I always do these sort of videos. I've always done these sort of videos, but it's my way of giving back to you guys as well, because they're not monetized, because I use pop songs. So I'm not actually making anything from those videos, but I throw them up just to show you they're a bit of, different content. So that's got its own playlist as well. Obviously, I was doing some Irish videos as well. I've got that playlist up, and we will be adding more to that playlist as well. But all these playlists are there now for the TARDIS Zone Talks and Friday Night Contact. Yeah, we'll talk a bit more. We'll talk a bit more about that warped eyebrow, the warped eyebrow later on tonight. Don't want to get bogged down on it now. But we will discuss it later on. So tune in. Tune in. Well, it's 6:30 now. So 2.5 hours from now, we'll be streaming Friday night contact. But yeah, is there anybody else got any opinions on the upcoming 60th anniversary and what you've seen in the media lately with Shooty and Millie? Has anybody got any opinions on that? I'll take a few comments there and I'll throw them up. Has anybody got any questions? Yeah, Picard season 3 is getting good reviews. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It is. Even by people that you wouldn't think would give a good review. But see, this is where I judge it. If you've got people like Dave Cullen, you know, who has been one of the top voices in this culture war and comes out and says that, look, this is different. This isn't like the last 2 seasons. This isn't like Discovery and all of those other shows that people don't like. This is actually done with care and respect. Right? So when I heard that, I thought to myself, okay, yeah, that's a good review. And then I heard that I saw a comment from the other side of the argument. And I thought, okay, fair enough. But you know what? It doesn't matter whose opinion is out there. As I said earlier on Twitter, remember, folks, the only person that can judge how good a TV show and a movie is yourself. Right? I think what's happened is over the last few years, a lot of people have become dependent on YouTube channels because they don't trust the mainstream media anymore, the mainstream critics. But in my opinion, that's also wrong. You'll only know how good these things are if you watch yourself. You shouldn't take the word of a YouTuber as gospel, right? Because we all have different opinions. We all have different tastes. We all have, you know what I mean? It's go and watch these things for yourself. It's the only way to find out whether they're good or bad. You're the only one that can make an informed opinion on whether something is good or bad, right? And then you can go and listen to the different points of view that are out there and then see if there's anything that you missed or that you agree with or disagree with. That's the whole point. See, the critics have kind of screwed themselves because, you know, they just won't tell the truth. So the audience then see us YouTubers and think that we're always going to give an honest opinion. But in fairness, let's be honest, and I'll talk about this a little bit more. Some, unfortunately, are so caught up in their hatred and have their own agendas, you know, because, you know, a lot of them have built their channels on that. You know, and at the start, yes, it was necessary. But, you know, as I said, with this culture war, and I'll talk about a little bit later on as well, where I spoke about we actually need to be changing our plan now because, as you're seeing, Velma has a 90% of any cartoon made by Netflix, for example. Yeah, but that's driven by all the hatred of the people that were coming out and bashing it, giving it free advertising, and then it ended up being a #1 show, just like all the fans that were giving it about Hogwarts Legacy, right? They drove that up the charts. We need to be... Anytime we complain, right, what does Hollywood do? They double and triple down. They double and triple down. If we ignore these shows and we start praising the good stuff that they actually do, they'll say, well, why aren't they praising Velma? Why aren't they even talking about Velma? Why aren't they not talking about this, that, and the other? Right? Eventually, they're going to fucking cop on that you know what I mean? Anyway, we'll see. But the Tardis on... Anybody got on Doctor Who? I know some of you are keen to talk about, you know, DC and all of that. But as I said, I'll be talking about that later on tonight. Does anybody have any questions in relation to Doctor Who, the upcoming 60th or shooty season, the filming photographs, anything, anybody got any opinions, any theories, let me know. Put them in the comments there, and I'll put them up on screen and I'll read them out. But yeah, I can't wait to see Shooty in action. I think he'll do a good job. I know there's people out there that are a bit worried about Shooty. You know, I think he'll do good by the show, and I think he'll try his best. That's all we want. You know, someone that respects it. Listen, you know, when he put up that video to say RTD gave him a pack, right, a Doctor Who pack, basically classic episodes, New Who episodes, and got him to watch. And then he was up on his Instagram posting about these stories, like that was Whittaker didn't do that. Do you think Ruby is going to be a bit more independent like Sarah Jane? I don't know, but what I will say is I think Ruby and the Doctor will depend on each other. I think there will be those moments of vulnerability. But yeah, I mean, look, as the years go by, companions are going to start getting a bit more progressive. But you know, once she doesn't become one of these companions, that's just basically used as a propaganda wheel. Well, then we're okay. She doesn't do that, and and RTD doesn't write her that way, and actually gives her a good backstory and, you know, good dialogue, and she's a good companion like the rest of the companions. We should have no problems. Yeah, we don't want another Clara, do we? Like, you know. Siobhan Comics says, I like the new leather coat Shooty is wearing in the shooting pics. I think he'll be a great Doctor. Yeah, I mean, again, you know, it is. I like the length of the jacket. See, the color scheme for his costume seems all over the place, but then I kind of have to tell myself, well, the Doctor's costume is supposed to be kind of all over the place, and it's not. Color schemes are supposed to clash, and it's not supposed to make sense. But I don't know. I just think there's a little bit too much orange or something. He may change it. See, if he changes his jumper but keeps the jacket, and the jumper keeps changing, or the t-shirt, whatever he's going to be wearing, if that keeps changing color, then I'll be okay with that. But look, again, as I said, you know, people are going to have things that they love about the costume. For example, I love the trainers. I do think he's wearing Jodie Whittaker's trousers, believe it or not, but that's another topic of debate. And I do like the length of the jacket. You know, and of course, look, we're only seeing photographs. It's when we actually see it's always the same. People have their doubts about a costume, but then as soon as they see the costume on screen and the Doctor is running around in the costume, you know, and it's doing his stuff, then people will probably that I'm not sure about the costume. Normally they have a different opinion and they change their mind. But we have to see it in action. But I do love his trainers. I actually want a pair, but they're €205 because they're a high end brand sneaker. But they're €205, and I don't have €205 to be buying them. So yeah. But you know, I think anybody that cosplays that costume will look that great in it. I have to be honest. So as I said, I just can't wait. Look, I can't wait for the 60th because Tennant is back, but I really can't wait to see what Shooty does. And you know, giving him this buffer, you know, before he starts, I think is the best thing that RTD could have done. Remember, the show's reputation has been damaged, whether people like it or not, over the last 5 years. It's also lost an awful lot of fans, especially those that arrived during the RTD era. They also left. It wasn't just classic fans. I hate this argument that it was just all men that left the fandom. No, it wasn't. Loads of women left the fandom as well. Velma is hilarious. It's like Scooby Doo, South Park. That's the wife, by the way. She had to throw that in, but we're not talking about Scooby Doo. We're talking about Doctor Who. So he can't say about the costume. I think it's clever having a short gap between 14 and 15. I do, because I think the 60th will draw a big audience in, right? And what will happen is that the ratings that he gets for that, if he can hold on to at least, if he can get people to watch the 60th and then are willing to give Shooty a chance, right, and give Doctor Who a chance again, then he's done his job. And that's why I think there is that buffer. 60th, bring in David Tennant, one of the most popular doctors. He either comes first or second in any Doctor Who poll. It's always between himself and Tom Baker. Even when Whittaker was the doctor and her fans tried to, you know, rig polls, David Tennant and Tom Baker were always coming in first and second. It all depends on the mood of the fandom. But you bring back the most popular New Who doctor for the 60th anniversary, and then a lot more surprises in that 60th anniversary, right? He is trying to bring fans back in, try to win over those fans that have been disillusioned over the last few years. And then it gives Shooty the best chance then going forward. I think it is. I said at the very start that this was clever. Now go to the shop. Yeah, that's our little thing that we have. When I wake up, right, or Cheryl wakes up, for whoever wakes up first, right, this is the impression, right? Go to the shop, right? So, it was her turn this morning because she was out because the doctor's appointment, and she comes home. So obviously Ted then woke me up because she came in the hall door, and then as soon as she comes in, go to the shop. Half asleep. Go to the shop. The warped eyebrow says he thinks Shooty. I have a feeling Shooty will be able to walk that line between serious and funny. I do. If you look at some of the photographs as well, he looks like he's devastated over something. So even getting a sneak peek at some of the photographs, it does look impressive. I wonder when, because he's done a lot of filming now. I wonder when we'll actually get a trailer for Series 14. Has anybody actually considered? Yeah, what will he do there? Will he wait until the last episode of the 60th to drop a trailer, or will he drop a trailer before the 60th even drops? Because he's already dropped the 60th trailer. What do you reckon? Let me know. The wife says, I think Shooty is rocking a great style. 2 love hearts. I don't even get a love heart. I'm only messing. I get loads of love hearts. My wife showers me with lots of love. Based on film and footage, I feel like she is going to be better than Clara and more like Susan or Barbara. Oh, well, look. You know, all I want is a companion that complements the Doctor and isn't there Of course, the companion is there to sometimes rein the doctor in because the doctor can't go too far if he doesn't have. That's why he needs someone traveling with him. But yeah, once she doesn't become another Clara style companion, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay. We don't need that sort of thing. No companion should do more than 2 series and a couple of specials. Discuss LOL. Oh my god. I don't know. I just have a funny feeling that Shooty's casting and Millie's casting are going to be a bit more long term. I don't know. I think we could potentially. We'll definitely get 3 series, I think, out of the two of them. I don't think this time. I think RTD's hand was kind of forced when Billy Piper decided she wanted to leave. So unless Millie decides she wants to leave, then he's in a bit of a corner. Then he'll have to obviously write her out, and he's capable of doing that. But I don't know. I just gotta. It's just something that's in the back of my mind that makes me think that they could stay around for maybe 3 or 4 series, maybe. Remember, RTD won't keep us waiting 18 months between each series. Obviously, we're getting a gap now because he's only back. But after Series 14 drops, I do expect us then to have another series of Doctor Who within that year. Within the next year. Like, it's going to be like clockwork. I don't think we're going to be waiting 18 months. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. Interesting one, though. Interesting one. We had enough of Rose. Any more would be annoying. Clara went on too long, and Sarah Jane was the exception to the rule. Um, well, we had Rose for 2 seasons, and then she's gone, and then we get obviously Martha Jones, and then she comes back then in series 4, but she has little cameos all the way through. I think the thing about Rose is that Rose with Eccleston was better with Rose with Tennant's Doctor. Rose was better with Eccleston's Doctor. She got a bit too cocky like most companions do. You could nearly say that Rose was kind of like an early version of Clara, just not as extreme. And remember, Rose as a companion was very selfish as well. Just like Clara was. She didn't tell Danny the truth and all of that. Do you think that Shooty's TARDIS interior will switch like what happened with the 11th Doctor? Remember, apparently something devastating will occur. I don't know. I don't know. But we do know that those leaked photographs of it are real because anybody that threw it up with their videos were taken down. So we know what it looks like. We just haven't actually seen the full thing because it wasn't completed. We seen obviously an artist sketch and then we seen them building it. But all we've seen then since then is fans actually put fan renders together, which look absolutely spectacular. Some are too bright though. They need to be, but we'll have to wait and see. But that should be. I mean, we should. Hopefully they can keep it. Fair enough. The images were leaked, but it still won't. We still won't know what it's like until we actually see it on screen for the first time. And I am pretty sure when we do see it on screen for the first time, it's going to be absolutely spectacular. I mean, I'm kind of glad. I never liked RTD's Coral Tardis. So I'm kind of glad he's gone completely with whoever he's working with, the creator of it, whoever he's brought in to do it. He's went completely the other way with it, because I never liked the Coral personally. But yeah, I just look. There's just so many things to look forward to, man. Yeah, could. Do you know what could happen actually, Jamie? When he goes into the past, do you remember Christopher Eccleston wore different jumpers, didn't he, when he went to the past and the future? Maybe the lighting scheme will change when he goes into the past and when the TARDIS goes into the future, which would be pretty cool if the lighting changes when he's going into the past and then it changes a different color when it goes into the future. That would be brilliant. But RTD does those little things and always has done little things like that. But that would be brilliant. That would be brilliant, man. That's a great idea. Hey, RTD, if you're listening, when it's going into the future and it's going into the past, to light up the roundels with different colour. Oh, man, that'd be great. What's a blue and red, isn't it? Well, it's normally blue and red or something like that. So, dude, I tell you, that would be cool. But yeah, I can't wait. Of course, again, sonic screwdriver. Will he have a sonic screwdriver? Because with the photographs that we've seen, has anybody actually seen Shooty's doctor with a sonic screwdriver in his hand at any time, even a blurry image? Because all the photographs that I've seen so far, I haven't seen him with a sonic screwdriver. And remember, I told you there could be a possibility that Shooty starts off without a sonic screwdriver. So remember, there's another rumor that this doctor is stuck on Earth. So this will be very clever. He probably, and remember, unless, here's the thing, it depends how he goes about this now, because remember, Jodie Whittaker's doctor created our own sonic screwdriver, right? For Christopher Eccleston, when he appeared on the scene, he already had his screwdriver. I don't think RTD has actually. No, he hasn't. RTD has never written. Remember, it's been Moffat that has changed the screwdrivers. He's the one that came up, I think, with the idea that the TARDIS gave him a screwdriver. The RTD never actually did. So how is RTD going to do that? Or is he going to do it like the past, the classic era, and have the doctor have no screwdriver like some of the classic doctors? We've seen photographs of UNIT and stuff like that. This has a kind of a pertwee feel to it. What shoot he's going to be doing. Be interesting. But I haven't seen the sonic screwdriver. Oh, a sonic ring? Oh no, that'll be ridiculous. We had the sonic sunglasses, which were utterly. Nah, man, I don't want any gimmicks like that. You either give the doctor a screwdriver or you don't. Simple as that. I'd rather the doctor have a screwdriver, but not rely heavily on it. Right? If you're going to have Anton. No more gimmicks. Sick of those gimmicks, to be quite honest with you. It's either a sonic screwdriver or it ain't a sonic screwdriver at all. And no other sonic devices. Nah, forget about it, man. Not a fan. Not a fan. Have to be honest. Sonic Ring sounds cool. LOL. It probably sounds cool, but then he puts his finger out to use it. He's gonna look like Green Lantern using the fucking ring. Come on. No way. No. Give him a sonic screwdriver, or you don't give him one at all. And I haven't seen him with a sonic screwdriver so far. Please, no sonic sunglasses. See, someone agrees with me. The sonic sunglasses, right, was a gimmick, right? And the only reason why we kind of tolerate it is because Peter made them half decent. And he ended up having to use the sonic glasses, if you remember, because he was blind. We'll see what happens. I'm certainly not a fan. I have to be honest. To be quite honest with you, I agree with that assessment. The warped eyebrow. You know, because RTD always talks about scaring everybody. Moffat as well. Look, I agree with you. I think there might be more horror elements in this series. I agree, and I think it'll be a great route to go down because you know they went down that route during the classic period of Doctor Who, and it was very popular with the fans. Very popular. Again, you know, if RTD does go down this route, this is RTD analysing everything. What will work, what won't work, what will bring the audience back. Chris Persia, head mod, says yes. And Jodie Sonic was horrible looking. The second was the first to have a Sonic, and he created it, not the TARDIS. So Jodie isn't the first one, forced to make one. Yeah, I forgot about that actually. Yeah, but how will RTD do it? Do you think he'll make his own? He could have it for a series, then give it to an old companion, says Jamie. Like, and Siobhan Comics again says, no more gimmicks. I agree. You know, when you had the Sonic pen in the Adipose episode, and David Tennant put the two of them, that was funny. That was funny, right? And a way of escape. You know, if they're used. See, I think there has been an over reliance on the sonic screwdriver. And I think it's a lazy plot device as well to get out of certain situations. And Moffat was the master of that. You know, he'd write overcomplicated scripts and plots that he couldn't even follow himself. And he'd use the sonic screwdriver as a get out of jail clause, basically. Shooty will use the Sonic Tennant has in for the 60th. Yeah, well, again, we've seen no photographs with him with the Sonic, so that's not a guarantee. It kind of kills that connection that is the same Sonic with different cover, like in the 50th. It seems to connect the Doctors outside of their TARDIS. Yeah, that's another valid point as well. But the Sonic shouldn't be a Sonic MacGuffin. It should be a pocket knife, and that's it. Yeah, it doesn't need. I always felt Capaldi's Sonic screwdrivers were a bit too big, but they were cool. Matt Smith's was big as well. You know, I think the Christopher Eccleston one, obviously David Tennant used. I think that was the right size and shape for a Sonic screwdriver. But when Moffat took over, they got very elaborate, didn't they? And then Chibs, I suppose he did in some ways try to make the Sonic less bigger, but he turned it into a I can't say it on YouTube, but it's not a sonic screwdriver. Simple as that. But interesting. It'll be interesting now to see what happens. We'll see if, again, as I said, nobody has seen any photographs with Shooty with a sonic screwdriver right now. So, and if it's true, they're already filming the Christmas special for 2024. So we still haven't seen sonic screwdriver. Yeah, it's got 3 settings. Yeah. The psychic paper. Yeah. Well, again, the psychic paper. The psychic paper, I think, is an essential tool for the Doctor now. You know, and in fairness, I don't think Chibs relied too heavily on the sonic or the psychic paper. There were a couple of times he used it, but yeah, I don't mind the sonic. I don't mind the psychic paper, I should say. Jamie Noy says Sonic Rabbit. We'll leave it there at that one. No, look, it's got 3 settings. LOL. You're all so fucking funny now, aren't you? Warped Eyebrow with another one. I'm still curious as to what the slug monster is. That scene is going to be hilarious. Yeah, it will. It will. But again, this is typical. This is typical of RTD. Remember, folks, just in case anybody does criticize the 60th in any fashion, because the other side, they'll be waiting because, their precious Jodie Whittaker is gone. But remember, this 60th anniversary doesn't have the big budget, right? The big budget apparently didn't kick in until Shooty's era, right? So if people are expecting, and now listen, the stuff that we see in the exploding cars and the vans and stuff look pretty impressive. But if you are expecting state of the art, if CGI or whatever they're going to use or whatever, it doesn't happen for this. He's still using practical effects as he's in and costumes. So, this will be a better version of what he gave us, obviously, in 2005, because he has a bit more money. But remember, the big main budget doesn't kick in till Shooty's era. That's what that's for. So, but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. That trailer that he gave us. And remember, that's another. It's not even that's still only another teaser trailer. So we've gotten 2 little. He gave us a little tiny look at it, and then he gave us that teaser trailer. There's still. I still reckon he's gonna release another trailer. But yeah, I want to ask you guys about that though. Trailers. So when do you think the Shooty trailer will drop? Do you think it'll drop right after the 60th? Or do you think it's going to drop before then? Because what's going to happen is apparently, obviously, we get the 60th in November, right? Then in December, Christmas special with Shooty, right? Then Series 14, and then another Christmas special. I know that music. I know they're idiots. There's the first game of the Irish season is starting, so the stadium is starting to fill up. So you might hear a bit of music. It's going to be worse when we go live at 9 o'clock tonight, and there's nothing I can actually do about it because my apartment block is overlooking a football stadium. So, um, but yeah, it's gonna be it's a fascinating time as the Doctor Who fan, and again, if we see improvements, it's better than what we've got in the last 5 years. And it's actually well written. Fans will watch. That's all they want. They want good writing. Will there be a gap between Shooty's first episode and then his series in April? I don't know. I don't know because obviously the deal with Disney Plus, they'll get to obviously stream it worldwide. I don't know how it works, whether they'll go by when Disney want to actually show it on their platform, or whether it's dictated by what RTD wants to do. Apparently he's in full charge, so I'd be assuming it'd be when he wants to put it on. Anyway, they're filming right now, as you know, so they're getting pretty close, I say, to the end of it. The Doctor Who doesn't take long to film. So I don't know. Do we get it around the same time as he used to do it? Are we getting it in the autumn? I don't think he'll do the Christmas special and then make us wait a whole year again, because they're already, filming. So it'll be ready to go by the time we get to shoot his Christmas special. It'll actually be ready to go by the time we get to the 60th anniversary, I reckon. So, yeah, I reckon they'll want to, because of hopefully there'll be such a good vibe and momentum with the 60th. They'll want to get out, shoot his fourth season ASAP. So maybe Christmas special, maybe then leave it for a couple of months, and then bang, his fourth season is out, and then we will know then if Doctor Who is truly back or not. Siobhan Comics says, I predict a teaser at the end of the 60th and a full trailer at Christmas, a full anniversary trailer at Comic-Con San Diego. Comic-Con in San Diego. Well, yeah, if we will have to wait and see if that transpires. Doctor Who in San Diego, I suppose, when Whittaker was first cast, there was a lot of interest, I suppose. But after that, the second year, there wasn't that much interest. So it'll be interesting to see if Doctor Who goes to Comic-Con in San Diego or any of the other major, New York. No, the Christmas special normally does be on. I remember back in the day between 6:35 and 7 p.m. It depended. Fans have made it clear over the last 5 years that Doctor Who, especially Christmas special, belong Christmas Day. Christmas is not the same without Doctor Who. So I don't think he'll do a new. I don't think that RTD would put out shoot his first episode on New Year's Day. Not a chance. I think that New Year's Day. I think it's dead for TV. Trust me, they repeat a lot of movies and they have a couple of shows that are on, but New Year's Day is dead. Yeah, Christmas Day and all the families are around the TV. Because Christmas, you have large families sitting in homes, and there'll be some that'll be Doctor Who fans. They'll switch it on, and everybody be sitting down and watching it. Christmas Day, you have to have Doctor Who on Christmas. Sure, there was even a news report a couple of months ago that he's already trying to get back the Christmas slot. And we spoke about on the channel even before it was even reported by the mainstream media that he was getting back the Christmas he was getting back the Christmas spot. He wanted to do Christmas specials again. Right? Even Billy Piper and Matt Smith criticised the show. Why is there a New Year's Day special, a New Year's Eve special, a New Year's Day special, and not a Christmas Day special? They questioned it as well. A lot of people behind the scenes were questioning stuff, right? And some went public with that, but a lot stayed silent. And a lot of these people actually worked on the show or have acted on the show, right? And they stayed silent because they seen what happened to people when they dared to speak up. So, behind the scenes, a lot of people knew that this was dead in the water, dead on arrival when Jodie was cast. They just hadn't got the courage or seen what happened to other people and wouldn't speak up. Simple as that. Anyway, I'm going to head off now because we're back in less than 2 hours. I want to take a little bit of a break before we do the next stream. So join me for Friday Night Contact tonight, 9 p.m. So that's an hour and 50 minutes from now because it's coming up to 10 past 7. The stream is already up. So if you want to get in the chat there and have a conversation amongst yourselves while you're waiting, you can do so. But don't forget to like, share, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you like what you're hearing on this channel and you like the content that we're throwing out there, please do try to encourage others to give the Tardis Zone a chance because, we do have a lot of things going on here. A lot of different guests and panelists, and we've got a couple of new co-hosts as well that do stuff with me as well on the channel. We've got those membership streams as well. If you remember, there's a membership stream every Tuesday. Every Tuesday membership stream without fail now. We got the schedule there. So the schedule is across the screen there. But just in case anybody needs me to read it out, I will. So we start off on Monday with New Who at 7 p.m. On Tuesday, we have member streams and the times will vary on that. So look out on the membership tab for further details of streams to come. Wednesday, Classic Who Zone is on at 6:30, and that's when we'll be discussing the latest classic episode that we decide to discuss. Friday, the Tardis Zone Talks, which is listening to right now, starts at 5:45, and then at 9 o'clock tonight, for the big finale for the weekend, we have Friday Night Contact, and tonight's content, tonight's topics of conversation is Star Trek Picard Season 3, and we're going to be discussing that Flash trailer and all the images that came with it, a look at Michael Keaton's Batman and all of that other stuff. So tune in, 9 o'clock tonight for Friday Night Contact. I want to thank you all for popping in and supporting the channel as you always do. I really do appreciate that. And I want to thank my co-host, Christian. It's just unfortunate that his boss has moved his lunch, but we knew that could possibly happen. But it was nice to have him on. And hopefully, if all things align next week, we could hear from Christian when we do the Tardis Zone Talks live from where did he say the Comic-Con that he's going to. So yeah, hopefully we'll get him on and he'll be able to say hi to everybody and stuff like that. If not, Christian will be back with me in 2 weeks' time, but we'll be here every Friday, as I said, 5:45 for the Tardis Zone Talks. As I said, they're all in their playlist. So you got the Tardis Zone Talks in the playlist, and this latest one is already in the playlist. Friday Night Contact has its own playlist as well. they're in there as well, and the latest one is in there as well. And I will have another video later on, Internet Madness video, because I know there are some of you out there that have been watching them. If you haven't, the playlist is there. Go and check them out and wait for the Pensacon. There you go. Right, so he's at Pensacon. So if everything aligns, we got good internet and all of that, we might have Christian joining us live there, and we can say hello. We'll say hello to everybody that's there and stuff like that. But if not, because we don't know, it's not set in stone. A lot of things have to happen for it to happen. But if it doesn't, as I said, he will be back with me the Friday after that. So I'm going to shut up now and let you all go and get something to eat. Get ready for tonight. Come and join us, please. We really do appreciate all the support. And I'll talk to you later on with Chris, myself, and Lee. And we will be diving into the card, the Flash movie, and well, they'll be the main topics. There may be a couple of other things that we might want to talk about. We'll see. But I'm pretty sure this is going to probably take up most of the stream. So that's why I don't want to make any promises about any other topics of conversation. Of course, we will take your questions as well when we're live at 9 o'clock tonight. So if you have any questions in relation to the Flash movie, what you've seen with the trailer, or if you have seen Picard episode 1 of season 3, give us your opinions on that as well. And Chris has put the playlist there, Internet and Media Madness. Go and watch them. There's a bit of music there as well that you can listen to and relax to and stuff like that. And as I said, I've always done these videos from day one's little slideshow videos. It's something that a lot of people that have been following this channel long term, there's people that actually like those videos, so I do it mostly for those. But you have to see some of these news headlines and some of the stuff that goes on the internet, because it's funny, it's shocking, it's absolutely disgusting. Some of it is unbelievable. So if you haven't checked out, yes, I am banging on. I won't make, by the way, just want to let you know, they're not monetized because I use pop songs. So I'm not making anything from them, but I still want you to go and watch them because it's interesting. You will literally see, as you look at all the headlines and the stuff, how bad we've gotten as a society. And I do think people need to watch these videos and see what's going on in the world out there and in different countries. Remember, a lot of you are in different countries and you might be just, closed off and not know that other people are dealing with problems out there and have their own issues with stuff with the media and all this stuff that's going on. So do check them out. Interesting videos. Right. I'll see you later. Have a good one, folks. I'll talk to you in an hour and 45 minutes. Have a good one. See you later. Bye-bye.